Decorating Pages is a podcast dedicated to taking you behind the scenes of the designs of your favorite TV shows and films. Each episode, I'll be sharing design stories from some of Hollywood's most famous sets. Interviews from set decorators, production designers, directors, and actors about creating the look of TV and film, about their design inspirations, and stories that take sets from page to screen. Hello, and welcome to Decorating Pages. I'm your host, Kim Wanup. Hey there, hi there, ho there. What's up? Nothing much, huh? Not much of anything. I don't think anybody's doing much of anything in this business right now. It's slow and it's quiet. And it seems like all the shows sort of ended in some past few weeks, and then it's quiet, and it's what Variety is calling the great correction of, I guess, streaming pulling back a little on their content and not producing as much, and the upcoming possible strike that the WGA might have May 1st, by the way, but they are going to the tables March 20th, I believe, will be their first round of negotiating. How have you not been negotiating yet? That's what I don't get. You knew it was coming, and somebody draw up a line and, hey, let's get to this before it's only like 6 weeks away or something. I guess it's more. I don't know. But yeah, it's quiet. On this episode, I'm speaking with David Smith, who's one of the few set decorators who I know is working, so that's a plus. There's hope. There's stuff going on. It's just not super busy as we have been since COVID. One of the ways I know it's not super busy is a lot of buyers have been texting me that they're available, and when the good buyers are available, you know it's slowing down. But I think we all need a little break. You know, we have been running nonstop. I know I'm not the only one. Nonstop since August of 2020, really. And maybe it's good. Maybe we all need a little breath anyway. So not too long of a breath. Not a couple breaths. I don't want the strike to happen and things get out of control here. We can't have that. But yeah, I've been watching TV because I have a lot of interviews coming up, but I did a little throwback with my 4-year-old twins. We watched Superman from 1978, which was production designed by John Barry, who did Star Wars and like a million other great things, and also the set decorator Peter Howitt. I know I'm saying it wrong. And he has a magical career on his own. So, but Superman the movie it's fine for kids, by the way. At least mine were totally into it and didn't move off the couch. We watched popcorn in the rain. It was great. It's a simple origin story, and it's great. Christopher Reeves is like jaw-droppingly handsome in it. The costume is so iconic and so perfect, and the sets are so great. Like Lex Luthor's lair, which is brilliantly portrayed by Gene Hackman, is like an old train station that's underwater. Do you remember? It has like that pool, and then Superman goes in Lex puts the kryptonite around his neck, and he's in there, and it's Miss Tessmacher. It's a really good movie for what it is, and the special effects are good. Like when he's, lifting everything up, that kid lifts up the car in the beginning. When he comes to Earth, Marlon Brando, and then they have those reflective white costumes on, and he's got the white wig. Fantastic. It's fantastic. Check it out. And then, because we've had Winter Storm 23 here in LA, dips below 50 and people freak out. Couple more days of rain. Hey, we didn't get dressed. I'm not going to lie. I took full advantage of rain with kids. We'd made a little play yard inside. We drank hot chocolate. We watched movies. We made popcorn. I was like, this is what I need. I don't have to work. I don't have to get up. It's cold out. Except for now, I gotta walk the puppy. It was great. Anyway, then, second day of rain, we did Superman 2. Perfect. It was perfect. Because then you got those 3 bad guys. They really like the bad guys. So many questions about the bad guys. And where did they come from? And how did they get out of that glass? And why are they bad? So it was a little bit. But still, Superman 1 and 2 from the 80s was like 1970 and 1981. It's really good. Check that out if you can. What else did I caught? I caught the first episode of the reboot of A Night Court, which I think is on Peacock. Production designer Glenda Ravallo and set decorator Peter Gursky. I loved the original Night Court. I was glad to see, some of the actors back, but as I yawn, no. It's cute. I mean, it's fine. But I really just wanted to see the decor of it and how they kept the courtroom, kind of the same, and his judge's chambers, and I mean it's a throwback. It's fine. I only watch one episode though. I can't. I'm done. Some more awards in the past week. We had the SAG Awards. We had the PGA Awards. And basically everything, everywhere, all at once is taking out everything. It won Best Produced Picture. It's probably going to win the Oscar. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio won. And White Lotus won for Outstanding Drama, TV. I really thought Severance would have taken it, but and I thought The Bear won for Outstanding Producer for Comedy, which I think everybody thought Abbott Elementary would win. I don't know how these people are judging how it's produced. How do you judge how it's produced? Because they hired all the right people who are winning all the other awards? Like, I don't know, because I know some really good producers who were nominated and they didn't win, so that kind of surprised me. The Dropout one, which beat Dahmer, I don't even know, how do you judge how it was produced? It's a weird award. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to call out. It's a weird award. But, anywho, the PGA Awards and the SAG Awards, which again, Everything Everywhere All at Once won. Jamie Lee Curtis, kind of the same names over and over again. So, but Brendan Fraser won, so that was, I think, good for him. Good job. I wanted to talk a little bit about TikTok and the accounts that I'm obsessed with because they're really good. But I'm obsessed with some other decorators. There are a lot of prop masters on there. There's a lot of people who like review films and TV and such, who I think are pretty good at it. But there is this one account called One Imagination One Rug, but it's IMAGINATIION 1, and it's rug cleaning. I am obsessed. It's in fast forward. It's there. I don't know how these rugs get so dirty. Like, I'm talking about area rugs, like Oriental rugs, or like, a 9x12, any of their round rug, whatever. They lay it down. It's black. First of all, I'm obsessed with why are all of these rugs have so much dirt on them. I don't even get it. I don't even know why people are spending the money I don't even know how much these people spend to get them cleaned. Then, how much water it takes to clean these rugs is insane. Back and forth with the scrubber, and then they spray it off, and then they put more soap on, and then they spray it off, and then they gotta flip it, and they spray it off, and then they gotta clean the white floor, which is tile, which I don't know why it's not concrete, so there's nothing in grooves. I don't get that either. You can see, I've really analyzed these videos. But I'm obsessed. They go from absolutely chunky, muddy, black rugs that you cannot see the design to like white, bright white with like, a leopard print or something. Like unbelievable at the end. The only bummer is at the end, because it's in like 2 or 4 times or whatever speed, you don't get to see the end result too much. So that's my only critique with them. But one, imagination, one, rug cleaning, obsessed. I love it. Set decorator Heidi Miller is on TikTok, and she makes up great little videos of her behind the scenes of her shows. She is at decor_craft. Yes, Heidi Miller. And then there's this woman who works in props. I don't know her name. Forever Making Stuff is her TikTok name, and she's behind the scenes of props. There's another prop guy, Prop Master Josh. He's great too. Another prop guy behind the scenes. Scott Prop and Roll. Scott Prop and Roll is his account. I'm saying all these wrong. You're never gonna follow these people. Anyway, there's a lot of prop masters and prop people on TikTok showing behind the scenes, and I really enjoy their clips. My friend Shop Trove is on TikTok, and she has a great little thing of what's in her store. I gotta plug that. Kind of obsessed with Turnaround Alan, which are these 2 guys working on some oil rig, I believe. And he started making videos of his coworker in his like 10 by 10 office who won't turn around. So you only ever see the guy's back of his head. And he just asks him questions like, hey, Alan, Tom or Jerry? And the guy answers, like, fuck yeah, Jerry. Or like, it's funny. And the guy never turns around. So you never see. So he just answers the questions that this guy's asking him. Okay, it sounds dumb when I'm talking about it, but it's really sincere and cute. It's called Turnaround Alan. So, yeah, there's a lot of other accounts I'm following that I'm kind of embarrassed that I'm following maybe. But work-wise, those are really good ones. There's a woman who makes sound effects too. I forgot to look up her name. She's really good. Shows how she makes all like people walking or with like a dinner card or like explosions or eating. It's really interesting, her little TikTok videos also. So yeah, just thought I'd give a shout out to those people creating really good content. So on this week's episode, I speak with my friend, set decorator David Smith. David has been non-stop since the COVID break on projects like Inventing Anna. He was jumping in with Jan Pascal on Top Gun Maverick and Air. He did the first season of The Old Man. He has an upcoming film, Knox Goes Away, directed by Michael Keaton, and it just released on Netflix this past month, is Your Place or Mine. So we talk about his book budget, how many bathtubs he had to audition for the scenes, how the film came together with the different styles of the main characters. So I'm really, really happy I got to talk to him about this. It's a cute little rom-com. Really good. Ashton Kutcher, still hot. Reese Witherspoon, still skinny little happy, like, love her. But yeah, and he's currently starting up the 2nd season of The Old Man. So he's one of the few decorators, as I said, that I know who's working. So I hope you enjoy. Oh, well, I'd love to, if that's okay, to talk about the movie, and then I know you have the Knox Goes Away coming up to tease that, but I haven't, the last time since I talked to you, you've done Inventing Anna, Old Man, Your Place or Mine, and then, but you were on...
I did a new model with Jan.
Right.
The Air Jordan, yeah. And then I did Top Gun Maverick with her.
Right. Like, yeah. You're ridiculous. You are ridiculous.
Really and truly, I have worked like 2,500 hours.
That's amazing.
Over the past few years. I know. It's crazy.
Well, you know what it is? They want good people You know what I mean? Like they want the trust of someone who
Yeah.
can handle these big things, and you're not going to be able to ever be done, I'm afraid, because they're
Well,
just going to keep calling you.
I don't want to be done. I
Yeah.
just assumed, I don't know if you knew who Bill Harp was, but he was an old decorator and he'd come to LA from New York. He started out at CBS and he started PSW.
Oh no,
And
I didn't know him.
and he did moonlighting. He did some
Oh,
of LA Law. He did
oh,
the last actually the last season of LA Law. And he did moonlighting and he did a, a big deal. But anyway, he retired and he died 6 months later. Just and
yeah,
it's like, great, get me out of here at some point.
yeah.
At least he didn't linger, which is good. But no, I still enjoy it. I don't enjoy some of the craziness that comes with the job anymore. But so far, it hasn't put me off yet, and we'll see how long it lasts.
I don't. I. But this is what fascinates me is that you must have such a memory of a different way that it all worked, and the collaboration and the process and the meetings and everything that's so different now. And the I mean, you've done great projects, but the quality that they expect now is
Right.
so much more than it used to be. I mean,
I definitely think that's really true. That
yeah.
it. Uh, I remember a producer on NYPD Blue told me that I shouldn't be doing television because I really thought that I was doing features and that I cared too much about what I put in front of the camera, and that sort of struck a chord. Um, the business is totally different. There's no doubt about it. It's totally different now than it was when I started. I tell the story that when I first started in New York, my first movie was in 1984, and we had no budget. It was not written down on a piece of paper as to how much money they thought that we should spend. And the producer came to us and said, "You guys, it was with David Grotman. It was called Key Exchange."
Oh yeah.
And the producer said at one point, "We spent a lot more money on the first few sets than I thought we would, so we need to pull back. So how can we cut back on these next few things so that we save the money and have enough to finish the picture?" And there was only one producer and one accountant.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah. And the producer knew how much things were going to cost. And you weren't quibbling about every $100. And of course, what $100 used to buy then is now $1,000 or $5,000 because
Yeah.
of the inflation. But I found that, I think people don't know quite what it takes to do what it is required. And I think there's so many darn
There's
producers
so many
and so many
producers.
people who have come up without proper training.
Yeah. That's absolutely how I feel. And they're all nice people. They all want to get it done.
Right.
But they're not running it creatively so that we're getting what we need. Budget
Yeah.
or not. Budget or
Yeah.
not. Like whether you have the money or you don't. You still
Well,
need this creative process, whether you're in costumes or props or set dressing. Like it's been stumped down to, well, they'll take care of it, or we don't need to talk about that, or we'll talk some things to death.
right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not talk about other things, and then okay, well, we'll just handle that, and we'll just get it done because it's going to be on camera. So I guess I don't know. I see it in my 16, 17 years. I see it, and I'm like, what happened to that? That was so nice, kind of, that we had this structure, and now I don't feel like shows are really run like that anymore. At least my last two weren't. Three.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say, going back to Your Place or Mine,
Yeah.
it was a it was Shondaland
Mm-hmm.
people producing for Hello Sunshine, which is Reese
Which is
Witherspoon's
Reese.
company.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jason Bateman's company was producing as well. And then Ashton Kutcher came in and his company was
Oh
producing.
man.
But because of the specificity of the specificity, I'm sorry, the specifics that the writer, director, producer wanted. The look was very important to her.
Right.
So what happened was, for me, there was much conversation. And when we first started the movie, I met with Bill Arnold, and he said, let me show you what Aline McKenna, Bosch McKenna, McKenna Bosch, or Bosch McKenna, Aline Bosch McKenna wanted. And he showed me these pictures of all these French movies. And that was what had appealed to her, along with um, Pillow Talk, the Rock Hudson
Oh
and Doris Day.
yeah.
And so I said, well, how do you, because the French movies that she liked, they all had painted walls with lots of texture and fabrics, print upon print upon pattern upon pattern. And I said to Bill, I said, this is not your look. And he said, I know. And I said, but I can do that. And he said, yeah. And he said, that's why you're here. And so I started off with a really good relationship with them.
Oh, good.
With Aline. And almost to the point where I felt a little badly about that perhaps it might seem that I was more in control than Bill. And yet I knew that Bill and I didn't have that issue, because basically, Your Place or Mine was my 13th movie with him.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, and so
the trust is there.
Yeah, we were really good about that. We were really, really good. And but a couple of times I had to. She was talking to me on stage, and I would eventually shift the course to him, the conversation to him, and then she noticed that at one point, and she said, did I do something wrong? And I said, no, but that really is Bill's decision and not mine. So I don't want to step on his toes. And so we worked it out very nicely. But this is the first time that she directed, so she really didn't know all that clearly about the sort of the way the departments were set up and who did what. But I at least
she picked up on it. But she picked up on it.
Yeah.
And she corrected, I'm assuming. Yeah. Whereas some people are just like, I'm going to talk to you about wardrobe because you're in front of me. And you're like, let me get someone who can talk. I can't. Okay. Like,
but what happened with us is, because of that, I was really close with her the whole process. And I mean, and she really, I don't know if you've seen the movie or not. I
did.
But
yes.
It's really colorful.
Yes.
It's really, especially Reese Witherspoon's work. It's really colorful. And I had great fun. And also, because I gave them a budget, because there were so many books in the movie. And a lot of it you don't see in the edit, because there were books in her bathroom, on the bathtub, and on the wall behind and then in the hallway there was a huge bookcase, and then in the kitchen there was a huge bookcase, multiple bookcases in the living room. Her bedroom was filled with books as well. And I thought we were going to get into a situation where I was going to have to end up buying a lot of specific books. And so I set the budget fairly high. I put aside, basically $100,000 for the books. And because Duncan Press was filled with books,
Right.
So we had books all over the place. And Ashton's apartment.
And his books, then color.
Yeah. And so what happened was, we did the color wall, especially. We started out with some of it being old books and some of it being contemporary books with jackets. Mm-hmm. And then at the last minute, we did a sample, and she said, I think I like it without jackets. And that made doing the whole color thing really great. Right. And then we found a wholesaler out in Riverside who sold us a Gaylord of books.
Oh.
And I don't know if you know what a Gaylord box is or not, but it's basically like a 4-foot cube.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like a is it like a comic book box? Is it like that?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know about that. But this guy would buy books from Goodwill, and he would resell them. And so Aline's assistant happened to have an online business of a bookstore, and she bought from this guy, and she gave me his name. So anyway, we ended up just spending a quarter, not even a quarter, of what I thought we would for books. So I came in under budget on the movie for the first time in my entire life. And I said to the producer at the end of it, my reputation is ruined.
Ruined.
Ruined. Ruined.
Ruined. You should have just spent it everywhere else on plants or whatever. You had a ton of plants.
I spent money. I got what we needed. I found really great bargains. But I saved them $100,000, and then we also built on stage the moving walkway.
I was going to ask that because I was like, is this the LA Convention Center? No, it's like, they don't have that there. They must have, I don't know where they shot this. I was going to ask that because the graphics and everything, I was like, oh, that's maybe just one-sided they did it, and then the other side, I don't know how you did it. So you built that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We did. Yeah, yeah. One side was Windows.
Yeah.
And one side was the graphic. Yeah. And then they flipped it, and then they flipped it again, extending it.
Wow. How long was that? Like 100 feet? Like, how long was that?
I think just under 100.
Yeah. Yeah, that was big. Did, I want to, was her apartment and his apartment a build?
Both her house and his apartment were on stage.
Wow.
And half of her front yard and all of her backyard were on stage.
Wow. That's a lot of plants.
It's
a lot of greens.
A lot of greens. And we totally redressed the front of her house for the few days that we shot there.
And then, did you go and do exteriors in New York?
No, Susan Ogu did them. They did all the exteriors of her walking to Duncan Press, walking to the school, the classes, walking up to the Brownstone Club, and then the little street market where she buys herbs.
The plants.
They did that, and then they did her walking up to the restaurant. But on the night where she's having dinner with I can't remember the character's name.
Yeah.
The night that they shot that, there was an event going on right across from them, and they didn't know about it when they made the. Oh, and they only had 4 days in New York.
Oh,
so
wow.
So basically, then what happened was I think it was the River Cafe, which is there near the Brooklyn Bridge. They let us bring out the china, and they sent us. We brought the china, the lamps, and the silverware, and then we manufactured 3 or 4 marble tables and did chairs similar to what they used, and then bought a wicker set and painted that and did the rest of that. And they just did the plate, And
you were still under.
Yeah, I know. I had asked. I think I put in like 650, which is not a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because and the houses,
because her house is really dense. Like that's what I kept thinking and his is very minimal but expensive. Like those appliances and like the type of furniture and everything that might look like super minimalist, but that's an expensive set. Like the faucets.
We wanted a Restoration Hardware sofa. Mm-hmm. We couldn't get one in the time frame that we wanted it. And so Omega built the sofa.
Oh, nice.
And I did that as a rental so it could go back to stock. And
good to know.
And then Omega built the bed.
Beautiful.
His bed. And then Real Restoration Hardware nightstands from the outlet, one in Long Beach and one up in Ventura.
Which really isn't a outlet. It's so expensive. They really shouldn't be called outlets. It's ridiculous.
And then one of them had a big gouge out of it.
Yeah.
Still paid, like $3,500 for it.
Yeah. They don't even flinch. I've asked. I've been like, this has. They're like, yeah, that's the price. I'm like, this. Okay, it's a big scratch on it. Good luck selling it. I mean, if I'll take it if you give me something more, but yeah. But they have great stuff.
Yeah.
So you get, you do get there. Her house to me was so, well, perfectly LA. Like it's the LA vibe that you've captured there. And so lived in and dense and realistic. Like I was just like, they I know they didn't go into somebody's house and just shoot this. But even to me, because I'm always looking like, oh, what did somebody else put on top of the fridge? Like, because there's little pieces you always struggle with, like, oh, there's a bear
Right.
right there. What am I gonna do? But even the side of the stove, you had like mittens hanging. Like you had every inch covered. Like I loved it. Loved it.
Um, we did. I mean, it was fun to dress. I have to tell you, it was not difficult at all.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill did such a nice job of making that house look real. You know,
Yeah.
the floor plan, the size was absolutely what a small two-bedroom bungalow would be in LA.
Yeah. I mean,
And uh, I decided that it's pretty incredible that in the 90s she was able to buy a house, but
yeah.
you know
Let it go.
it wasn't unbelievable
Yeah.
as it was pointed out. um, but I figured she didn't have very much money because that's a story point. And but yet I know, and you know, I know several people. I have good friends, a couple of really good friends in my past, who always had nice looking houses, who found the most incredible bargains
Yeah.
at thrift stores, Goodwill, yard sales, and that had a good eye.
Yes.
And so I sort of then settled on the fact that she would have collected pottery
Mm-hmm.
and you know all the other stuff that's somewhat recognizable, but she bought it all for nothing when it was available for nothing.
Yeah. Because
You
she's
know,
smart. She
it
was
wasn't
smart.
Roseville, you know,
Yeah.
it was Stangl, and it was, you know, McCoy, as opposed to, you know,
Yeah.
the really good stuff.
Well, plus two, she has a kid, and even that kid's bedroom was like spot on. Of like, you have the projects and the paperwork and the just crap and toys around and clothes and like it just accumulates and then
Yeah.
it's just there. Like, oh, we put those socks there last week and then they're just there. Like, yeah, kids' bedrooms to me are always like can get I've like on impeachment they wanted the kids toys to be out everywhere, and I actually brought the twins and we had toys there and I let them play for a while. And when the director walked in, she goes, oh, it's too messy in here. I go, okay, well, I literally had kids playing in here and this is what happened. And she was like, yeah, we're not gonna. I was like, okay, cool, well, I'll make it movie worthy, but like
Well, how do you raise kids if you're a minimalist? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. Because even when you try to tell them, like, oh, put your toys away, they're never away. Like, my husband is always like, when are we getting our living room back? Like, when? And I go, this is it, man. This is,
For at least another 14 years.
yeah, this is it. Like, we're not getting rid of these Legos for a while. So I just try to keep making, like, nicer like
Storage
cubby
boxes.
holes, like nicer things to put them in. That's all I do is keep buying more organized, and the boys are like, I'm organizing, and they'll put stuff away. Um but the lived in kids look isn't easy to do, and it's a
Well,
lot. It's a lot of stuff you got to get to fill these rooms. Like it was perfectly done.
yeah, what I really liked doing in Jack's room especially, well, and in Debbie's bedroom as well, is you know I bought like his bookcases were really cheap, and then we painted them, and then the desk was from plumbers or Scandinavian design,
Yeah.
but we painted it black,
Mm.
as opposed to it being like it was, making it look more like a vintage piece.
Yeah.
I was okay with his bed being new because I figured that she bought
She
him
bought it.
that.
Yeah.
But again, it was fun. Aline showed me that her son actually had a red bookcase, and I just thought, okay, well, I'm going to just copy that red
Yeah.
bookcase,
Well, especially if you're going for color, like
Yeah,
and to show
yeah,
the difference of their worlds, like it works
yeah.
perfectly to give them like odd standout pieces a little bit because it just shows the eclecticness of what they're going for.
Yeah, and unfortunately for us, I would say more than half of her things were from Works Brothers,
Ah,
and I know, just
ugh,
such a loss
it's a
of,
huge loss
and I have
for us.
no idea who's going to replace it
I
in
don't.
our,
I mean,
you
I've
know.
been in space for 8 months, so luckily it hasn't hit me that hard. But like, it's like it will hit me. I I wanted to know how much discussion went into what sheets they both had to have to make that scene work.
Oh. Well, you wouldn't believe it if I told you it was something that happened immediately, right? No.
No, it
Um,
wouldn't.
it,
But
it, it really wasn't that, it wasn't too much trouble. Bill remembers it being a lot more torturous than but I think I probably bought a dozen different kinds of sheets. And at first, I thought we were just trying to match tone,
yeah.
and not necessarily use the same sheets. And then I took it a step further down the line about like, oh, if we're going to use the same sheets, then she probably bought them as a gift for him,
Oh,
as is how I justified it in my head. But of course, I mean, finally, when we were talking about it, Aline just basically said, it doesn't work if they're not the same sheets. And I thought, yeah. But on the old man, we had done a more torturous routine, like linen sheets that everybody liked. And I went through some pale blue and some darker blue and gray, and then this sort of natural color linen.
yeah.
And I had used a very similar sheet on the old man.
Hmm.
So once I brought that to the table, and that sort of fit everybody's skin tone and really worked.
Yeah.
Really, really. We did a camera test, and it was like no question about it. So
It does. I mean, it certainly fools the audience.
yeah,
And then I like that thought of like, she bought them for. I figured, oh, they have the same taste and they don't even know it. Like that
that's
kind of.
even better.
That's what I
Yeah,
was thinking of. Like, oh, they didn't even know that they had the same sheets. And then I was hoping that when they got into each other's beds, there was like, oh, this is just like mine or something, like a throwback to it.
there may have been and didn't make the edit. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
But I did like the whole awkwardness of them playing like, this feels pretty icky after 20 years being in
Yeah.
somebody's
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It was like touching the sheets. Like, oh, okay. I felt that Steve Zahn was a little wasted. Like, I feel like that could have been, or was it more? That's what I was wondering.
No, it
No?
wasn't more. It wasn't more. No, no.
Bummer. And then I couldn't understand. I actually had to rewind it because I was like, did he just say that he sleeps with her? He's got friends with benefits. She's sleeping with him. Like, then I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
You didn't believe that, eh?
I didn't. I didn't believe that. I don't know. Because I didn't believe it more so because it's a small house and she's got a kid. Like,
Right.
it just was like, oh, all right, well, kids at school. I don't know.
What is she? That's right. Yeah. When does that happen?
Yeah. So, where was the stages?
Sunset Gower.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Which is always magical,
I
I
know.
love being on a lot in Hollywood.
I
I mean,
know.
there's something about working like at, Sony,
Yeah.
or, I mean, Sony's not bad. At least there's a history.
Yeah.
Manhattan Beach really isn't bad, but it's a lot, but it's not, the
It's
lots
not.
in Hollywood, they're the best.
The old ones and like,
Yeah.
I mean, Warner Brothers and Universal have been redone so much
Right.
that
But
but there's still the history and everything, and working on the lot is great there too. But there is like the Sunset Gower and like the Lot, which I think has been sold now to Shonda Rhimes. But like,
oh, has it? Did she buy it?
I think that,
Oh,
or
that
that's
was
Oprah.
Showtime.
Is that
Right.
Oprah?
Is it Oprah owned? I don't know.
You know, the lot over on like Formosa.
Yeah, yeah. I thought there was a big Showtime building there.
Oh, maybe I'm
I might
wrong.
be wrong. I
I
might be
might be
wrong.
wrong. I don't
So,
know.
so how did you like Minka in Your Place or Mine? The
Oh, the
the former.
girl? I liked her. I thought she was a quirky, like younger, like view going
Yeah,
on. I thought she
yeah,
was a good character. And she
yeah.
didn't try to she didn't get offended when the guy was flirting with Debbie. So I was like, oh, that's like a girl's girl. I can dig that.
Right.
I liked
No,
it.
it's funny. I liked the character reading it, and then I saw some dailies and I liked her. Bill said immediately, "Oh my God, she's going to be really incredible in this movie," and I thought that she really was. I thought that
Yeah.
she really had sparkle and was really terrific.
Yeah.
So,
I
and
think
I
she's
liked the fact that she was nice with Debbie.
yeah.
Yeah,
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 there wasn't like a
girlfriend.
jealousy thing or
Yeah.
there was like a go get 'em girl, which I think is really nice and not and she bought her the suitcase, so yeah. No, I thought that was a good character on her end to have, you know.
Right.
And then the is it
Okay.
Tig.
Yeah.
I just I was wondering why she had to have coffee in every scene. I was like, this poor woman. And I know she makes a joke about it, but I was like, I don't know why. She must need to hold something, or I don't know what that is.
Don't you see a lot of women in production with coffee cups all the time?
Yeah.
And men too, but a lot of women. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, I do. I do. I mean, I think you see less Starbucks than you used to.
I think you do.
It
I do
used to
too.
be like Starbucks,
Yeah,
Starbucks, Starbucks, Starbucks all the time. Going on
yeah.
Starbucks run. Kevin, who wants a Starbucks run? Who wants a Frappuccino? Like breaking your
There's,
arm. I remember breaking my arms trying to get like two big things coming back to the
when you were
office.
PA? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I remember Disney wrote a memo right after Starbucks came to town, and it said that Starbucks doesn't buy coffee for buyers.
Oh, oh. I know that
And that was when they were spending about $200 a week at Starbucks for the producers,
yeah.
and it just went like, ugh, you know.
I went on a Starbucks run once and I came back into the writer's room and, it was they were funny guys and everything. And I handed the guy his coffee and he goes, "Did you spit in this?" And I go, "Not today." Like,
And I'll bet they used that line
and
somewhere.
everyone in the room was like, "What?" Like, what? I was like, "I'm just kidding.
They did,
I'm just kidding."
they didn't laugh. Oh my God.
They did laugh, but I think I was so quick.
There was truth in your
24-year-old
in your
me 24-year-old me talking to what was his name? Carl Kirkland or something. He was like in with Joel Schumacher and like helped write Flatliners or some shit like way back in the day, and then he was working on this kids Malibu CA show, and I don't know. He was funny, but I got him that day. But yes, we're not even. They say it to us all the time. You can't even have like Starbucks for lunch. You're not supposed to buy drinks. Rah rah rah. And it's like, hey man, they serve lunch now, and that's the only place I'm stopping because they have a drive-through. So I'm not going to McDonald's. I'm going to Starbucks. But yeah, I thought Tig was a nice little supporting character. I thought it was really cute and really good. I mean, it's a proud little movie you got there.
I was sorry I got some sort of negative reviews because I think it's really charming.
It's
I
number
don't think,
one. Who cares?
yeah. I thought I liked it from the moment I read it. I really did.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I thought there was nothing wrong with doing something that is enjoyable and rather lightweight, and you don't.
Yes.
And nobody gets killed, and nobody is horribly depressed, and there's no violence.
But
I like that.
Let me ask you this, because isn't it a bit of a letdown to do a movie and have it come out on streaming. Because there's
Uh,
no, how did we do? There's no, oh,
yeah.
did you go see it this weekend? It's very like, well,
Well,
at least yours is
when
number one.
I I first saw the movie when we came back to do reshoots. We did a new ending, a partial ending. We did that little coda at the end where they get into the cab.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, and that
In
was
Burbank.
like LA Flyaway in the Valley.
Yes.
And that was supposed to be LAX, and it was supposed to be Uber at one point, and then that went by the way. But I saw the movie then, and it played really well. And I thought, oh, this is charming. And then they did, about 4 months later, they did a little rough edit at Sunset Gower. And I got invited, and I took Peter Dang, the lead man. And it was fun. It played really well, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
But on the Thursday before it got released, the following Friday on Netflix, they showed it at a movie theater in Westwood
Oh.
with a big crowd.
Oh. That was
And
nice.
I've only been invited to like 2 premieres. And basically for Top Gun Maverick, they invited everybody who worked on the movie to,
That's awesome.
old Chinese theater, Grauman's Chinese and Hollywood, which was great fun.
Yeah.
And to see that, it was great fun, but it wasn't reserved seating. This was reserved seating in Westwood. And I happened to be seated down front. And I would rather have been further in the back, but I was like at row J and looking up at the screen, but it was big and it was just a little too close for my taste. Nice. However, I was around all these people that I didn't know. And I asked people, I said, how did you guys get here? It turned out that some of them were cast members of several shows from Netflix, and they were there to cross promote. But there were lots of people in their 30s and 20s. And a couple of people I asked who were working to seat people, I said, are you going to stay and see the movie? And they said, no, we'll watch it at home. And I said, you really should watch it, I said, it's worth, you're gonna like it, and it's gonna be fun, and I think you should stay and see the movie. But it played so well with the crowd.
Yeah.
And there was, because some things, people laugh at different things, and laughing is contagious.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely.
And it played so well. And I said to Bill afterwards, I said, I wonder if Netflix has missed the mark here, that maybe they should play it for a week or two
and then put it on.
And then put it on. Yeah. I mean, there really is nothing like seeing it in a theater. There really.
No.
Yeah.
There's just a feeling, and especially your own work, the grandness of it, of like, yes. Yeah. And no, why did I do that? So there's good and bad, but there's just the awe of it. That's, that's why we're here.
When I first saw the movie, I thought to myself, how many shades of blue can you put in one movie, David? Because Debbie's house is so colorful and so color coordinated.
Yes.
It's crazy. Well, but then when I took it into the office and we did the same thing, I don't know if you caught the one, there's a price tag on something.
Oh, no.
On Debbie's desk, there's a blue picture frame, a blue wooden picture frame.
And I hate that.
The home goods tag is on the back. And I thought, and then after I sort of cringe every time I see it, but seeing it on the big screen, I thought, oh, well, if anybody caught it, too bad.
Yeah.
But it's realism.
I didn't catch it. I didn't catch it.
And I'll tell you one other thing we did, Kim. In the kitchen, her kitchen, we tried to buy an IKEA counter. And when we were doing the movie in 2021, 2020, there was none available in Southern California. So Omega built us an IKEA.
Oh my God. It probably lasts a lot longer.
and we brought it in to dress the set 5 days before we were to shoot in the house. And it had been painted, and we brought it in, and immediately we realized that it was too wide.
Ugh.
So I
The
called
island or the counter?
the little kitchen, the blue thing floating in the middle.
Oh, there. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I called Alan and I said, I want to cut this down. I want to cut the depth down by 6 inches. And he said, it cost you more. I should just build you a new one. And so they built us a new one, and we had it painted and aged and got it in like 3 days. And
wow.
I years and years and years ago, I said, we all will be building IKEA furniture in our lives, you know? Which is so horrible to think about, but it's really true. It's come true already for me.
It is.
Yeah.
And the thing is that IKEA isn't cheap anymore.
No.
Really?
No.
It's not that cheap anymore as it used to be. It's like, oh, a college student can like.
But they also do have some good design.
They do. And unfortunately, like on this last show, I gave some options, and they were like, "Is that IKEA?" And I was like, "No, I'll have to check what that is, because if they knew it was IKEA, they didn't like it."
They didn't like it
because they were like, "Oh, it's mass produced. Everybody knew it," and I was like, "It's a simple design, and it's a knockoff of a really great design. So let's just. Do you like it or not?"
No. I used IKEA for the first season of The Old Man, just in street furniture. We bought the simple wooden tables and distressed them, cut them down.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we use it all the time. And now you have the click and pick up.
Yeah.
You just go. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah. I mean, we all know what it is, but it works. And a lot of times, even though it is more expensive than it used to be, it works for our budget. So, especially lighting and smalls. Like, you can't
well, speaking of lighting, did you use a lot of LED or did you, well, you didn't have very many lamps going on anywhere.
I can't even talk. The lighting situation was a disaster, really. It was, everything flickered. They had to rebuild almost every fixture that I got. It was like, we only want LEDs. No, we don't want LEDs. When we did anything like, on Earth, and we used halogen, it was all fine. But, there was a lot of built-in lights, so there's only, minimal things that I actually had to provide. But then they only wanted to use practicals to light the actors.
Right.
So then they were like 3D printing shit, and Seth and I were like, that's not a fixture we approve. And then they used it, and it became a real battle all the time. And I would sometimes go through like 6 or 7 examples just to get the right one that would work. And by 6 or 7, it's not what I want. It's what I can get right now. So it was really a real challenge, I would say, through the whole season. And lighting the actors. Why am I lighting the actors? It's bullshit.
I know. It's really getting out of hand again. I think I like it when the lighting department at least provides a fixtures guy who will rework them or people.
Yeah, we had that, but I said if I would have known, I would have had just one buyer on just for lighting. Just to source shit. I don't have time, because the way I was divvying up, like I had one of my buyers mostly in space and one mostly in Earth, and then if I had to like cross over, they were
the other was lost.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, can you just do this? But yeah, it wasn't fun. It wasn't.
Well, I wanted to talk very briefly about one other thing, just why we commiserate.
Yeah.
So not only do we miss Works Brothers, but of course, we miss Blueprint.
Yes.
And there is no replacement for Blueprint either.
Because Scandinavian's not a replacement at all.
No. I mean, Scandinavian has good things, and I just wish that they would be able to handle, a faster delivery.
No.
I happen to have had good luck the last couple of times working
Blue Dot online. They are pretty good, and they're modern, and what did I have? I forget what show I had with them. Well, I mean, we used a lot of it just now for modern stuff. And I think even on Veep we had it was because it was in California we could use it for the incentive. Never mind. But
Right.
Blue Dot, they're pretty good with shipping, and I find a lot of good stuff on there.
Yeah.
That's like my
And I know I've used Wave much more than I thought I would do.
yeah
I used Etsy a lot
yes
on Your Place or Mine, and a lot of the artwork was from Etsy.
yeah
Mhm.
I love using Etsy like
Yeah,
artists. I think
yeah,
it's the way to go. I did that for love, like well LA for love. I did so much Etsy artwork to represent Los Angeles. It was great.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Well, and also one other place that we bemoan, Anna's Linen. Do you remember them?
Oh, well, Anna's Linen.
They-
What about Aaron Brothers?
oh, well, God, Aaron Brothers is pathetic. I mean, without them, yeah.
I
Michael's
know.
is never going to. I mean, Hobby Lobby has good stuff, but who wants to buy at Hobby Lobby? You
I
know?
know. I
I
know.
know,
I
I know,
know. But they have
but
good shit. So,
but yeah, Manhattan Beach, you almost have to, don't
I
you?
know. I pass it every day. I
I
pass it
know,
every
I
day.
know.
I
um,
know.
one of my buyers went to Hobby Lobby for Debbie's office. Armin did, and I said, "Oh, Armin, I don't know if I can use this. You have to return this." But we did use a couple of mugs from Hobby Lobby. So
Yeah, I know. It's, and they're cheap. Like, unfortunately, but of course they are. I
yeah.
I don't know. Everything is sort of like online. Like everything, almost everything I bought was online.
Well, because you can't find anything in stock.
I
No one
can't.
had. I couldn't find 6 curtain rods when we were doing finishing. Knox Goes Away. We were shooting a cabin out in Chatsworth, beyond Chatsworth,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I could not go to a do-it center or a Bed Bath and Beyond
Well, Bed
and
Bath,
get
forget it.
6 curtain rods that were the same style in either place.
That's really sad.
And it is very sad.
Bed Bath's closing in Manhattan Beach.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
closing. I mean, they suck anyway. They had nothing there anyway, but in a pinch, maybe you could go there and have some hope. But now, now it's going to be gone. I don't know. I
I
don't know.
know.
And I mean, cost plus, but that's a vibe. That's not everything.
No,
That's
no,
not. I don't know.
no.
I buy mostly everything online, and I do a lot of Amazon. I do a lot of Amazon.
Me too.
I would have Amazon those curtain rods in a second if I could have.
I
Like,
have bought more curtains in the last 4 years on Amazon
yeah,
than I would think possible.
yeah,
Uh, and I mean, I have to say, so far their return policies are really great
yeah,
because you buy and you can get 8 pair of the same things, or you
yeah.
can get 14 pair of the same things. Usually in the time frame that you need them, and then you can return them if they're wrong. And
The only thing is you have to have them shipped to your house because it takes extra time to go to the lot, and then the accounting people get pissed at you that you're shipping everything into your house. And I'm like, look, I don't want it to my house. My neighbors hate
I would
me.
rather not get it to my house.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then I gotta cart it here, or like
And
I've had toilets come to my house because it comes in time over the weekend, and then the steak bed's here at like 6:02. Like, I don't know. I don't know how else to do it. What's what I gotta do. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I haven't had toilets sent. I've had some heavy things sent. It's really been amazing. It's like, oh my God, I can't even grab a corner of this and take it to the
I know.
elevator.
And it was free shipping. Like,
Yeah,
what? It doesn't make sense at all.
yeah, crazy.
I,
One other thing for Your Place or Mine,
yeah.
I must have auditioned at least 14 bathtubs for
Oh, for hers or his?
for
For
for,
her.
for her and
For
his.
hers. For both.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So should she went? She had the claw tub or like a.
No, she had a built-in tub with she had an inset tub in
Oh.
her, and then he had a freestanding
That's what
bathtub.
it was.
And so we wanted it to. I bought. At one point I planned on it being a 6-foot version
Mm-hmm.
so that he would fit in it, but then she would look small in it. So we tested the heights of them, how many were, if we were going to put a platform in them for her to sit on, or if it was really right. Turned out to be just fine. We settled on one bathtub,
Oh, that was
uh,
good.
not bringing in a one for him when he was in the bathroom, although we never really saw him in the bathroom when he was, he was brushing his teeth.
There
Or,
really is something fun about doing like a yin and yang when you
yeah,
in decorating of what
yeah.
is its complement and what is its opposite and finding the and it all has to look good and work. Like it's fun. It's fun.
And watching, I don't think I'd seen Pillow Talk ever before. I knew about it, um, but since Aline was referring to that, I watched it, and it is such fun set decoration.
Oh,
I don't
the
know if you've seen it recently, but
I have.
the sizes of the pictures and almost, I mean, splitting it right down the middle, they almost do exactly,
Yeah.
so similar but very different in each place. And the split.
I always love like when you look at the older curtains and the shears that they have and like the way that everything was tailored and like I always feel like man those were the drapery days like those.
Well, they were because, of
Yeah.
course, I mean, when I first went to Fox at the last season at LA Law, there was a drapery department, there was a fixtures department, there was a
Yep.
greens department that was
Oh
H and
wow.
H Fashion was on the lot, and if you wanted kitchen cafe curtains, they made them in the drapery department,
Oh, you can never
and
find them.
you paid $1,200 for them, but
But you had to keep that fox drapery alive. It was worth it.
I know it was worth it. It
You,
was worth it.
you know they're
Yeah,
redoing that back lot.
finally.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not that they're making it any bigger or anything. I think they're just
I
redoing
don't
all
think
those
they can.
facades.
Um, but I don't know. We had a great time shooting on that for LA. I mean, for NYPD Blue.
Yeah, I
I had a
know.
great time. I've got great pictures of that lot and how many times we did bars
Did it
and
over.
restaurants in the same place. It was good.
Oh.
It was really good.
You know that did they do the other? They did the NYPD. Didn't they do it? And it was Sipowitz's son. Or are they doing that now? Did my
They
did I
they
dream
they
that?
they were doing a pilot, I
They were
think,
doing a
with his
pilot,
son.
and it didn't
It's,
go forward because
it's
it
a
was
movie.
Dana. It was Dana Bochco, right? Was doing it or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a bummer. And it was Sipowitz's son is now a cop. That's how they were playing it.
Yeah. I don't know if you've read David Milch's book called
No.
I forget what it's called, but he did a bit of an autobiography, and he gets into his process of writing, and it's just a fascinating read.
I'm on it.
And unfortunately, he's suffering from dementia,
I
and
know.
he had several assistants help him, but they took meticulous notes, and he kept almost everything, and
Oh wow.
uh, it's really good. I'll send you the title.
I will look it up because I got time now. Well, I go on dog walks now. It's fun. I
That's
got dog
fun.
walks instead of commuting time. I usually do audiobooks and then I listen to everything in the car. But geez, I was lucky he had a minute to talk to me. The man is busy. So, he's a fantastic decorator and he's really a great guy and he's fun and he's funny, as you can hear. His work has always been inspiring to me and still is. And he just keeps on trucking. Like, I don't know how he does it. I'm tired. I don't know how he does it. But he is a beautiful person and it shows in his work. So I'm glad that he was able to give me some time and talk about Your Place or Mine. It was a fun little movie. I really think it was fun, and there's not a lot going on out there that's like easy and breezy and just a fun little comedy. So always check it out. I'm also glad he brought up talking about different resources that we've lost in Los Angeles. And I know I've talked about it before, how just missing Wirtz Brothers and how devastating that is to us. And Seems like we had it made with all those things before, and I guess, we did. And LA is a big city. You got to drive everywhere and everything, and, shopping online 10 years ago was like, oof, you never know. But I really do, trust Wayfair. I have a great contact there who works with me. If anything doesn't work out, they're great with returns. Amazon is good with returns. They don't even ask you why. They just take it back. It's a sin. And, as we said, IKEA is a staple. You can't get away from it. And they have quantity. So, we're dwindled down to actual places you can go and buy things. Even if you go to West Elm, you really can't buy furniture off the floor, or it's just not available anymore. It's crazy. So I'm glad he brought it up, though. It's good to reminisce about some good stores. I had such great responses last week to John Pena's episode talking about The Last of Us. I hope you caught it. If not, it's last week's episode. Give it a listen, and it's brilliant. I just love the show. And you can listen to me dorking out talking to him, so that was fun. Also, if you want to catch my little TikToks, at Decorating Pages Podcast on TikTok. If you'd like to email me, or if you have some suggestions, or you think of any designers you'd like to hear from, production designers, set decorators, costume designers, editors, anyone, I'll talk to anybody. And you know what? Everybody's kind of not working, so it's a good time to sit down and talk about our crafts. So if you think of anyone you want to push, or tell someone to email me. I'm at kimwanup@decoratingpagespodcast.com, and just check out the website too for all the social media on IG, all that jazz. Ugh, you know how I hate to plug myself. Anywho, also reviews. Always gonna ask for them. It's always nice to hear. So, just click 5 stars. Really simple. It's great. Thanks. I hope you got an earful. I'm Kim Wanup for Decorating Pages.